So Ms. Gerdsen is touching on the theme of friendship in her talk. So in advance of her speech, I want to begin with a brief poem. It's a poem by someone known more for his essays, but he was nevertheless a poet in his own right. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's called Friendship. A ruddy drop of manly blood the surging sea outweighs. The world uncertain comes and goes, the lover rooted stays. I fancied he was fled, and after many a year, glowed unexhausted kindliness, like daily sunrise there. My careful heart was free again. "O friend," my bosom said, "through thee alone the sky is arched, through thee the rose is red. All things through thee take nobler form and look beyond the earth. The mill round of our fate appears, a sun path in thy worth. Me too thy nobleness has taught to master my despair. The fountains of my hidden life are through thy friendship fair." So with that, I invite you to welcome up Ms. Gerdsen.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
As Mr. Powell said, I'm Mrs. Gerdsen, the photographer in the communications office. And as he also told you, I film my other job here at Blair's to film your leadership stories. By the end of this year, I will have heard each and every one of your stories. Sophomores and juniors, we filmed your stories when you were freshmen. Seniors will film this fall, and freshmen, I'll hear your stories in spring. Between all the students, a number of alumni, a handful of faculty and administrators, I've heard a lot of stories. And I thank you for sharing each and every one of your stories with me. Today, however, I'm going to share my story with you. My story takes place when I myself was in high school. It was an evening during my junior year that I will never forget. I never saw the headlights coming before I felt the impact. It all happened so fast. All I heard were tires screeching and a loud crunch. Sounds that haunted me for a very long time. Pulling out of a Hardee's restaurant with my Butterfinger milkshake in one hand and my friend sitting in the passenger seat, we were heading back to my parents' house to watch a movie. I looked both ways, pulled out, and began turning left when I was T-boned on the driver's side. The woman driving came around the corner so fast, she didn't yield. The impact was so great that I couldn't get my car door to open. It was that badly crunched. In fact, my seat was now pressed up against the passenger seat, and I couldn't even find the button to unbuckle my seatbelt. Looking around the car after the collision, I remember seeing my Butterfinger milkshake all over the interior of the car, running down the windows, terrified, thinking it was blood at first. Because of the concussion I received during my accident, I don't remember everything that happened that night or the exact order. I do remember crawling out of the passenger seat to get out of my car and being so thankful my friend Paul was okay. I don't remember if I had to turn my car off or did it just stop running after the impact. I do remember the police showing up quickly and even asking me who should tow my car. I had no idea. I remember even looking at the police officer and questioning him, "You have to tow my car?" I don't remember ever turning around and even looking at my wrecked car that night, but I'm sure I must have. I do remember the paramedics showing up as well, examining me, and then making the comment that when they arrived at the accident, they thought they'd be pulling out a body. I don't remember walking across the street to a Blockbuster to call my mom. After all, this was before cell phones and a time when everyone knew what a Blockbuster was. Nor do I remember the stairs, and I'm sure I got walking into the Blockbuster, covered in milkshake and tears running down my face. But I do remember that phone call, telling my mom that I was in a car accident and asking her who should tow my car. Instead of being worried, she sounded mad and didn't even believe me. She couldn't tell if I was laughing or crying, and told me that my joke wasn't funny. Then she said something that struck me. My mom said that my sister's dream had something that really upset her. What dream was she talking about? Through my tears, I asked her again, deciding not to ask her about my sister's dream that she had had. No joke, Mom. Who should tow my car? I was 15 years old when I could start driving in South Carolina. First, it was with my permit, so I could only drive with a parent in the car. Then at 15 and a half, if you passed your driver's test, you could drive during daylight hours. I passed. And I was driving my mom's stylish minivan all around town. It was about that same time, though, that I started getting this unusual gut feeling that I would someday die in a car accident. I know that sounds kind of morbid, but this feeling would just come over me. I'm not sure if any of you have had this kind of feeling, and I say feeling because I don't really know any other way to explain it. I only felt it when I was the driver. It was never a scary one, it was more of matter of a fact. So, when I felt it, I would just remind myself that I was a good driver and pray that my guardian angel would watch over me. My mom was aware of what I was going through, and she even bought me a little guardian angel pin to hang up on my visor of the car. When I turned 16, I got my real license and I could drive day or night. Then my junior year, my parents bought me my first car, a Honda Accord, from our next door neighbor. It was a safe and nice car, but I still had that haunting feeling. I just couldn't shake it. In the early morning, the day of my accident, my little sister Amber had a dream. I guess it was more of a nightmare. She woke up crying and scared and told her mom she dreamt that I had died in a car accident. It really shook her up, and she felt like it was so real. My mom comforted Amber by telling her that I was a good driver. Afterwards, they said a prayer for me. Later, before I left the house, I was informed of Amber's dream and was reminded to please be extra careful. This is one of the many things I don't remember from that day. I don't ever remember hearing about Amber's nightmare that awoke her that morning. The night when my parents arrived at the scene of my accident, saw my car, saw me standing there without any real visible injuries, my mom was simply amazed and shocked. I walked away with only a few scratches, bruises, and a concussion. But the key word is I walked away. I'm sure that someone was watching over me that night. Mr. Powell asked me if I had a picture to show y'all today. So, you're laughing. This is a picture of at the junkyard a couple days after my accident. You're laughing about the denim overalls I'm wearing, and yes, that's me. Or the man sneakers, because I think they're back in style. You can see my little sister in the back seat. Thanks, Roz. I don't think my sister and I have ever really talked about her dream or that night. She was only 11, and I was wrapped up in my own world at the age of 17. But Amber is here today, visiting from Greenville, South Carolina, and I'd like to say thank you. Thank you, and I love you. Thank you for praying for me then and throughout our lives together. Thank you for always keeping me in your thoughts and your prayers, even though we live miles apart from each other. I walked away from my car accident that night with some firm convictions. First, I walked away believing in the power of prayer and the power of keeping your family and friends and sending love their way. Maybe prayer isn't your thing. In any case, keeping your family and your friends in your thoughts can be just as meaningful. Through this and other experiences, I learned the importance of friendship, of family, of really being there for other people, even if you're not in their presence. Being a friend isn't always about physically holding someone's hand. Physical presence is, of course, really important, but it's crucial to hold a special place in your heart for people you love and care about. Keeping those close to you is so much more than experiencing both the good and the bad times together. It's also about being committed to them. It's about having a special posture of the heart that is dedicated to others. It's being steadfast in your relationship. I guess what I'm trying to say is my sister Amber has embodied the kind of committed love that I'm describing for as long as I can remember. So, for so long, I have felt the kind of love from her that has truly helped me in my life. She's the sister and friend that we all should be, whose love and care can move mountains, can save people in a time of need. It's the love of others that truly gets us through our day. So, in closing, let me just tell you, after the night of my accident, I never had that feeling I was going to die in a car accident. So y'all are safe to ride with me now. Thank you, and seniors first.